Mr. Goldstein, 1 minute rebuttal.
Well, there are many things misstated here. First of all, marijuana is not just smoked. Two of the most common delivery method for medical patients are vaporization, a new delivery method that does not actually smoke marijuana. It's been shown to be safe and effective in the treatment of HIV-associated neuropathy with HIV patients. Also, the MS Society says right here in their 2008 report, the National Multiple Sclerosis Society says that medical marijuana may reduce neuronal damage, thereby possibly limiting disease progression, perhaps as an add-on to other treatments. Vaporization and edible marijuana provide safe, effective delivery methods, and smoking marijuana has not been shown to be a detriment to any of the medical patients in 13 states. We have a truckload, more than an archive of scientific evidence showing the medical efficacy of cannabis, and smoking cannabis has not been shown to be detrimental to anyone.
Well, it's amazing. Oh, I thought I had a rebuttal.
Oh, no. We're just single rebuttal on these items.
But I didn't have any. I started the answer, didn't I?
The setup we had was question,
Rebuttal.
and
I don't answer?
that was not the structure we've set
All right,
up.
go
so
ahead.
Just,
I'll
I'm
get to the answer anyhow.
okay. Within a question, you're free to respond, and you have 3 minutes. I suggest you use them as you would like. Okay. Therefore, let's, we got to this question, so I'll ask it over to Mr. Goldstein then. There is concern that, a little off topic, that New Jersey's medical marijuana bill could lead to broader legalization of the drug. How do you respond to these concerns?
Well, we certainly wouldn't have this discussion about a state bill to regulate medical marijuana if it didn't bring up the broader question of prohibition. We have this bill because there is federal prohibition of marijuana. States have enacted this type of legislation via ballot initiative or through the legislative process to make sure that patients are protected and to make sure that their citizens have access to something that is scientifically proven to be beneficial for their condition. Now, again, it brings up the broader question of prohibition. Why would we have to have this bill in the first place? If marijuana wasn't a Schedule I substance, this would be a non-issue. But it is an issue, and it will take a longer time to have a greater discussion about prohibition. But that's why it's so important that we pass the bill now. That discussion about broader marijuana prohibition will take years. But right now, this year, in 2009, we have a chance to pass a Compassionate Use Medical Marijuana Act right here in New Jersey and protect patients right now. Broader legalization is not within the medical marijuana argument. Medical patients aren't looking to get high. They're looking to survive, they're looking to live pain-free, and they're looking to have a better life than what they have without medical marijuana. And that's the life we have today. In front of the New Jersey Legislature's Health Committee, I said, and this still rings true today, what we say to patients is go to jail or move away. Folks like the narcotics officers of the state of New Jersey don't care if you have MS, cancer, or AIDS. They just care if you have marijuana. And people do go to jail. People don't end up in prison, but they do get arrested. And if you arrest someone and you start putting them in the criminal justice system and they're already dying, they're already ill, how much of an impact does that have on them? You don't have to send somebody to jail to kill them with the criminal justice system. You can just arrest them. And that's what happens every day here in New Jersey. We have Crohn's disease patients, MS patients. They contact us all the time. And right now, I think it's more important than ever. 13 states do have medical marijuana access. People do move away. They tear themselves away from their family and their friends if they have cancer, and they move to a place where a state doesn't prosecute you for choosing cannabis therapy. That's why it's important we pass the bill now. Keep people with their families. Keep people healthy. And bring about this alternative therapy that works in other states right here in New Jersey.
1 minute rebuttal, Mr. Farley.
I could sit here for the next 3 hours and refute all of the arguments by going through legitimate medical studies saying everything that Mr. Goldstein said is not true. And he mentioned vaporization and edible marijuana. Ask him right now whether they would be behind a bill that had only vaporization and and edible marijuana in it and no smoking? And the answer will be no. I'll support that bill tomorrow. But that's not what they're looking for. It comes back every single time that we debate this any place. They want to smoke it. That's why they don't use Dronabinol, the pill. That's why they don't use Marinol, the pill. And as far as the vaporization, it's not even approved in the United States yet. The product is Sativex. I hope it is approved because it will show again that they don't care about the method. They care about smoking.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. All right. Question to Mr. Farley then. What is the difference? You have brought up the different delivery methods, the different drugs available that are not smokable. What are the difference there, and why are those not covered under the current Schedule 1 narcotics? How are they available? How does that fit into this discussion of medical marijuana?
Well, we have a system called the Food and Drug Administration in the United States, which we've had since 1906. And since 1906, every drug that can be prescribed by a doctor or sold by a pharmacy has to go through an FDA approval. There is no FDA approval of smokable marijuana, and that's what they're looking to do. This vaporization, again, smoke screen. Let him say right now tonight that he would back a bill that only permits vaporization or edible marijuana, and I will go on record as saying I'll support that bill. You're not going to get that from them because that way they can't smoke it. They want to smoke dope. This has always been their smokescreen because, quite frankly, their ultimate goal here is to legalize marijuana and legalize a lot of other drugs. And they've said that time and time again since the 1960s. And we have tapes of all of it to prove what their position is. But when you get a situation where somebody says they can adjust their intake by smoking an unknown product grown some unknown place, and they'll regulate it, but they can't regulate it taking an FDA-approved pill. It makes no sense, just like the rest of his arguments.
Mr. Goldstein, rebuttal.
Well, again, we're encountering law enforcement pretending to be doctors here, and I think that's what Mr. Farley is doing again tonight. Marinol and Dronabinol are the same substance. Marinol is only one cannabinoid, and it's actually synthetically made. It's THC, synthetic THC, and it's actually prescribed to about 300,000 people. It's not that people aren't buying it or being prescribed it. People are using Marinol successfully every day. It's just that they would rather have natural marijuana. There are two studies that actually compare marijuana with whole smoked cannabis, and both from the medically effective stance and the stance of patients themselves and how they experience the drug, they chose whole plant cannabis. He also mentioned Sativex, which is a drug that's marketed by GW Pharmaceuticals. It's available in the UK and in Europe for MS. It is in an inhaler. It's a sublingual spray. It's not vaporization. Vaporization has been proven as a safe and effective delivery method, and it is important that we highlight vaporization.